In Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 4, we have seen a ton of new updates, but one of the cooler ones is actually the new moving POIs across the map. As you can see here, every single game, there are Quinjets that fly out from behind the battle bus and set up temporary POIs that are only there for that specific game. Now, you may be wondering where all of these Quinjets can go and what every single possible spot is. Now, surprisingly, there's actually only 15 in total, and there are 4 Quinjets per game. That means that out of the 15, you're always guaranteed to get 4 of them. Now, which 4? It's completely random, but I am going to be showing you every single location that the Quinjets can go to, so you will always know where these can go and where you can get your mythical items to win more games. Let's jump right into it. This map shows every single spot that the Quinjets can spawn. So, if you're good with this, then you can pause the video here, look at all of these locations, and then just go on with your day and try and drop at these spots. That being said, I am going to break down every single one just by marking it on the map, as that map is kind of iffy as it kind of shows the location, but it doesn't show the exact spot. So, in this video, I'm going to be marking every single spot on the map just to show you where all 15 possible spots are, so that you can start practicing for those spots if you plan to drop there in competitive, or if you just want to have more fun in casual games and get more wins. Location number 1 that the Quinjets can spawn is actually southeast of Misty Meadows and of Catty Corner. Now, this spot is kind of in a weird spot and it's on very low ground, so it is risky to drop at, but it is one of these spots where the Quinjets can land. Let's move on to spot 2. Spot 2 is basically directly north of Spot 1. It's right below Lazy Lake and a little bit to the left of Catty Corner. Now, this spot is better because you can rotate into these places like Lazy Lake and Catty Corner to try and clean up them, or you can get rotated on from people in Lazy Lake and Catty Corner. So, it can be a risky spot, but that is Spot 2 for where the Quinjets can spawn. Spot 3 is right near Retail Row. Now, this is also a good spot, just like the Lazy Lake one, because you can rotate into the Retail Row to try and clean up, or you can rotate to this lake to try and get some loot, but that is Spot 3 that the Quinjets can spawn. Now, I know I'm repeating myself here, but Spot 4 is also really good. If a Quinjet spawns here, I would recommend you go there, just because it is right outside of Dirty Docks, so you will definitely be able to rotate in, get some loot, get some cleanup kills, and even get some mythical items from the actual Tony Stark location. The 5th spot that the Quinjets can spawn is actually a really weird one, and I wouldn't recommend going here even if the Quinjets do spawn here, just because there's no real loot spots nearby other than Steamy Stacks, but that's still a decent bit of a ways away, so I would not recommend going to location 5, but that is where it is. Spawn spot number 6 is probably one of the best in the game. This one is a very isolated spot right outside of Craggy Cliffs on an isolated island, so you're not likely to get rotated on. You can probably rotate out very easily, and I think this is a really good spot to grab mythicals, so if you see one of the Quinjets land here, definitely make sure to check it out in your games. If you have more of a conservative playstyle, Spawn 7 is definitely the spot you want to be looking for. It's very isolated, not near any POIs, and it's just really taken away from most areas that people commonly drop at. So, if you like to play conservative, you don't like to play for those early game kills, but you still want a chance at getting some mythical items, Spot 7 is definitely a spot to go if you see a Quinjet land here. Remember, it's all random. You only get 4 Quinjets per game, so hopefully you'll have one land here if you really want to play at this spot. Spawn 8 actually directly neighbors Doom's Domain and Coral Castle and Sweaty Sands, so I would not risk landing at this one if a Quinjet does land here, just because it is super risky that you're going to get collapsed on from people who had to leave their initial POI early, but still have good loot and shields and have more items than you. So I would not recommend Spot 8. If you see a Quinjet land at Spawn 9, I would also recommend going there. This is probably one of my other favorite spots, as you can loot up at that cobblestone castle and then rotate onto this spot, or start at the Quinjet spot and then rotate into the cobblestone castle right nearby. Either way works, but I would recommend Spot 9. We are now into the double digits, and we are into Spawn 10. Now, this one is in a weird spot. It's kind of in no man's land, so it's not really beneficial, but it's also not bad. So I can't really recommend it either way, if it's super bad or super good. I think this one is just going to have some trial and error, but good luck landing there if you see a Quinjet land there and you decide to pull it. Spawn 11 is right next to the Authority, which actually sounds intimidating, but it is not. Because the Authority no longer has the mythical drum gun, it's not as scary to land at anymore. So, this spot is actually pretty good, as you can rotate over to risky reels to try and get loot after you loot up at it. At spawn 12, it is another weird positioning one. It's right near the Authority, but that being said, that's the only POI it's near. So this one is probably good if you like a semi-conservative playstyle, but also an aggressive one just because you're positioning yourself in the middle of the map, so you're probably going to have a bunch of other people landing with you at spot 12. Now we are on to the final 3 spots, and we're starting to get into the swampy ones. The first one is right next to the giant wood spot, so this spot is really good, especially if you can win over this wood shack and then rotate onto it, just because you'll be stacked on materials and hopefully have a mythical item. Our penultimate spot, spot 14, puts us right next to Slurpy Swamp. Now, this spot can be really good, as you can get loot, but if you get caught out here and people from Slurpy rotate in onto you, you can get caught out. So, it's a risk, but it could be a reward. We have finally reached the last spot, spot 15, and this spot is basically right below Slurpy Swamp. It can be great for fishing, especially if you grab a fishing rod right near it, and it can be great for rotates, as you can take a road, take a car once cars get added to competitive, and then you will be set for the game, as you'll have mythicals, fish, and guns. So 15 is probably a really good spot to go to, just a recommendation. So on screen right now, I will be pinging every single spot that these Quinjets can spawn. Just remember, you can only get 4 of these every game. It is completely random which 4 you get, but this video is just to help break down where every single possible spot is and why you should go to certain spots of them. So I'm just going to do my outro while I'm doing this, if that's okay with you guys. But if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please consider leaving a like on it and subscribing to the channel, as that would help me out a ton. Thank you so much for watching the video. It really means a ton to me that you made it the whole way through. I'm literally about to hit 1,000 subscribers. A few days ago, I was at 200. So thank you so much to everyone who's been subscribing. It really means a ton to me. I'm about to hit a giant landmark, so thank you to everyone who's been subscribing. I really can't express my gratitude enough. But thank you for subscribing. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah.